Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of GameSpark. Today is episode 5. Really quick, before we jump to the interview, I just want to thank everybody for their kindness and their support and their patience regarding everything that has gone on in my life over the last couple months. I took a hiatus from interviewing people because I lost my mom in August, and it's been a really, really rough couple of months. But I do feel like I'm healing and I feel like I'm okay and I'm going to be okay. And one of the ways that I heal is through playing video games. So let's jump to the interview. Let's get to it. This one was awesome and I cannot wait. Let's get to it. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I really appreciate it. If you could introduce yourself, please, that would be great.
Sure. I'm Kevin. And on Twitch, I'm basically Dad.
Basically Dad!
Formerly Magical Minish. So I respond to whatever people call me online.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Do you still stream?
No. I really want to, but I don't have time with work.
Yeah, you're busy.
It's crazy.
You're busy. Yeah. No, I totally get it. Basically Dad has been a member of my Twitch community for a long time, and then he went and got a job, and so now I rarely ever see him, but when he does grace my chat with his presence, it is a big to-do. It's always a pleasure to have him in chat. So let's get started with my first question. What is your earliest gaming memory?
I remember playing games with my brother, and I don't remember like having like one particular, this was the first time I played a video game.
Got it.
My brother tells me that when I was 3, it's apparently when we got our first Nintendo Entertainment System.
Okay.
And he says that I played Mario, like Super Mario Brothers, all the time. And I have no recollection of that. Like, I remember playing it. I remember playing Duck Hunt, but like those are not the earliest like memories. I just have vivid memories of playing games with my brother.
Just Nintendo.
Not even Nintendo. I mean, we played Nintendo, but I mean, I remember like probably the biggest earliest memory, right? If we can go there.
Yeah.
Was the day, like the Christmas that we got our Super Nintendo.
Oh yeah.
Right. Like my brother and I, that was our big Christmas gift. We opened a Super Nintendo with Super Mario World and Super Mario All-Stars.
Oh man.
And we were there, like we made it.
Yeah, you were
in
the top of the. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Those 8-bit Christmases. Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. How much older is your brother than you?
He's 7 years older than me.
Okay. And he's your only brother?
Yes.
Okay.
I have 2 sisters, but he's my only brother.
Did your sisters ever play games?
No.
No.
I guess my younger sister played games. She actually bought a couple PlayStation games.
Nice.
I know, like Mega Man for some reason, Mega Man. But my older sister never played video games, but she loved the stories of video games. And so I remember my brother did a playthrough of Final Fantasy X, and my sister recorded on VHS all of the cutscenes for Final Fantasy X and made like a Final Fantasy X movie.
It's like a fan made. It's like, did she put that on YouTube? She should put that on YouTube.
This was VHS.
No, I know,
right?
but she
Internet
needs to
did not
find that
exist.
now. We need to make that go viral. Tapping into the early gaming memories. Do you remember? And if you do, what is the first game you beat all by yourself?
The earliest one that I remember beating in the way that I wanted to beat it was Pokemon Yellow. Like we played, my brother owned Pokemon Red and Blue, the very first Pokemon games on the Game Boy.
Okay.
But they were both his, so like I didn't get to play them.
Oh.
Which was just rude.
I was gonna say, that's so mean. Like, you have all these memories of playing games with your brother that he's like, except my Pokemon games.
Yeah, exactly. Well, because back then, if you played a Pokemon game, the save file was on the cartridge, and there was only one save file. Still
So
to
you
this
couldn't
day,
share.
Pokemon only has one save file. Yeah. So there was no sharing. He played the game, and then if he ever needed to trade Pokemon because there were some exclusives, then I would have to put the Pokemon game in mine, or he would just steal my Game Boy and then he would trade them himself.
Okay.
So
I've never played Pokemon either, so I don't know how the Pokemon world works, but...
Why are we even doing this interview, Susie?
My daughter has Pokemon Scarlet right now, and she keeps telling me all these things, and I'm like, that's great. Like, I just don't really...
You only have to learn, like, 1,200 Pokemon. You're fine.
Well, she has a book that's this thick, and she started giving me Pokemon lessons at night, and I've learned about a lot of Pokemon that I don't really remember their names. When you say you beat Pokemon the way you wanted to beat it, explain that to me. Like, what do you mean? Like, your brother wasn't sitting over your shoulder and being like, do this, do this, do this.
That, and I think what I really wanted to do is just pick my favorite Pokemon to beat the game with it, right? And which is what I still would like to do now with Pokemon. Like, when I pick up a Pokemon game, I would really just like to get one really overpowered Pokemon and then go trash the final boss, right?
That sounds like a lot of fun, actually.
It's a lot harder to do now, but back then, when there were only 150 Pokemon to worry about, I got Pokemon Yellow, and they force you to start with Pikachu. That's your starter Pokemon. It's supposed to be, like, true to the anime or whatever. And so I got the Pikachu, and I threw him in the box. And...
What does that mean? What does that mean?
I just realized you have no idea what that means.
No, I don't.
If you don't want a Pokemon in your party, you throw them in the PC, and there's boxes in the PC that hold and store your Pokemon. Which makes no sense, because Digimon are in the PC, Pokemon are like real creatures.
Yeah.
We can talk about this another time, but...
I have so much to learn when it comes to Pokemon. Maybe that'll be an extra life challenge.
Pikachu.
Okay, you did not want the Pikachu. Okay, all right, that's fair.
I kicked it to the curb.
Okay, put him in a box.
Yeah, and I captured a Geodude, and then I leveled it up and evolved it into a Golem, which was like my favorite Pokemon at the time.
Okay.
But back then, you needed to have a Pokemon that could do all these extra little things, like on the actual world map, so that you could progress. And so GameStop or Walmart or something was doing an event where you can get a Mew, and Mew can learn any move ever. So I just taught it all the trash moves that I needed to progress in the game. And I leveled up my Golem, and I got a level 81 Golem, and I went and I fought the Elite Four, and I beat the champion, and I beat the game. And that was like no help from my brother. I just had a really overpowered Pokemon and stupid moves and trashed the game.
And you enjoyed it.
It was like the first time.
Yeah,
like no one told me how to play. I didn't need any help. I didn't have a strategy guide or anything like that. I just played the game.
I won't say I have Pokemon on my backlog, because I don't. But I'm going to have to try it at some point.
I'm going to completely divide your entire viewer base right now.
Okay, all right.
All you need to do
is
play the original Pokemon, okay?
I just have to play one.
You just need Gen 1. That's the best one. Okay, that's the part that's going to divide your entire viewer base. But,
okay.
No, if you play one Pokemon, like, you pretty much played them all.
I played Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch, and that was probably the closest to a Pokemon game I've ever played. I was trying to use a stick to beat the baddies. And it was my husband who was like, I think you're supposed to use the little creature you just found. And I was like, oh, what? He was like, yeah, that's what Pokemon is. And my husband doesn't even play games. I was totally clueless. So I learned, and that's the closest I've ever come to playing a Pokemon game. So what are your top 5 video games, if you can give them to me? I know that's a hard top 5.
I'm gonna do franchises because picking individual games is really difficult.
Okay, that's fine.
I would say Final Fantasy is the big one.
Okay. Do you have a favorite Final Fantasy game?
Oh man, so 9 was kind of always my favorite, but I really enjoyed all of them. 9 is fantastic. It's the most...
I think I played it and stopped. Like halfway through. I couldn't...
7 is like everyone's favorite, right? And 8 and 9 are very polarizing. You're gonna find people that, like, after 7, I don't know why they did 8. You know, and I hated 8 growing up. It was a terrible game after you played 7.
I've never played 8,
And
so.
But then I played 8 as an adult, and I was like, yeah, this is a pretty good game, right? But as a kid, 9, I liked 9 better than 7.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I still think 9 has better characters, which
maybe I should try it.
May just be, I don't know. I think they're more lovable and they're cartoony. It's not like 7 where it's like dark and grim and
heavy.
You know, you're Cloud and you're whatever.
Brooding.
It's a very light game.
That's what I love about Cloud. That's what I love about Cloud. No, I can see that though. I can see that though.
The cast is different.
Yeah, like I remember what I played, and I can see that they're a little more warm and inviting, and it's a little more cartoony. It's a little more lighthearted. It's definitely not. It didn't seem nearly as grim. So Final Fantasy IX was probably your favorite out of the Final Fantasies. So what other franchises?
That was my favorite. Well, I'm not done yet.
So. Oh no! Please keep going.
That was my favorite growing up. I think my favorite, like now, to play like a one-off would be 10. 10 by far has the best storytelling. It has the best story.
Is that PlayStation 2? Okay.
So
I've never played 10 either.
It's so amazing to me, and if you didn't grow up with it and you didn't grow up playing the games, and it's I think it's just lost on people. But 7 was the first Final Fantasy game on the PlayStation. And it's just polygons.
Yes.
Right? Like it could have been a Nintendo 64 game.
Yes.
Like it's Banjo-Kazooie graphics, right?
Absolutely. 100%.
9 was on the same console. And it was only like 3 years later.
That's true.
2000? Maybe 4 years later, 5 years later. I don't know, somewhere around there.
Gosh, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, same exact console, totally different art style, totally different presentation. And then Final Fantasy X comes out. It's the first one on the PlayStation 2, and it just blew 9 out of the water as far as artistic direction and everything they were able to do with the animation. I think 10, if you're going to sit down and play a Final Fantasy game, 10 is keep your Kleenex close and just enjoy the ride.
Okay.
I mean, you could play that game for 100 hours and never get bored. This entire week I've been watching the very final moments of Endwalker, which is the last expansion that came out for Final Fantasy XIV, and just remembering like all the feels. Like it's such an emotional journey, and I don't know, like I love watching people react to these things, right? Like I'm reliving my first time playing it, but I had never paid attention to the story. I played Final Fantasy XIV on like 12 different characters and never once paid attention to the story. And so new content would come out and people would be like, oh my gosh, this is so crazy. And I'm like, I don't know. I killed a thing and I'm moving on with my life, right? I'm just here to play the game.
Yeah.
And then when Endwalker came out, Naoki Yoshida was like, hey, this is the end of the story. Like we're going to continue building on Final Fantasy XIV, but the conclusion of what Final Fantasy XIV is at the moment is in Endwalker. And I was like, I gotta start over. I'm gonna actually pay attention to the story.
Yeah.
And I was blown away. As far as, like, 10 is a good sit-down, play single Final Fantasy game. 14, story-wise and just presentation and how the story blends itself, it's a masterpiece. Like, I could do a whole 12-hour video on how amazing Final Fantasy XIV's narrative is.
Final Fantasy is very close to your heart. I love that.
I adore Final Fantasy. That and Zelda, obviously. All of it. Except for Majora's Mask. That's a terrible game. I want you to ever play it.
Okay, that is also one of my hot takes. I did not like Majora's Mask. No, I've never gone as far as saying I hated it because I feel like hate is a very strong word. I didn't love it. I just didn't. Like, I love Zelda, but that one just did not do it for me. It was too... No. So you and I, we're yeah, I'm picking up what you put down.
Good. Mega Man as a franchise. More so Mega Man X. I grew up with Mega Man on... Like, we had Mega Man 4. We didn't have any other Mega Mans. We just had 4. I don't know why. I love that game. It was great.
Then we're talking like 8-bit Mega Man, right?
Yeah.
Like 8-bit pixel. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Challenging. So hard.
The first 6 Mega Mans were all Nintendo games.
Right.
We had Super Nintendo when we played Mega Man X 1, 2, and 3, and then one of my first games, I believe, for the PlayStation was Mega Man X4, and I just played the tar out of that game. I love that game, and then I got all the other Mega Man X's, and then they stopped making them, so here we are. Final Fantasy, Zelda, Mega Man, not a franchise, but well, not yet. Hollow Knight, probably just one of the best games ever made, but.
Best.
Yeah.
So good.
That was
maybe it will be a franchise. 2000 never.
2000 never.
Maybe.
Myth song one day.
Yeah, it is. That's one of my top 5 is Hollow Knight. It is still to this day unlike anything I've ever played before.
I can't remember if this is one of the questions you're going to ask about stories, but Horizon Zero Dawn. I haven't played Horizon Forbidden West, but Horizon Zero Dawn was like probably the first game, honestly, that I really paid attention to the story. And it's funny because I played it for several hours, and I just did side quests. Like I get easily sidetracked, and I just don't finish games because I end up doing something else, and then I lose interest. Mm-hmm. And it was that way with Horizon Zero Dawn. And typically when I do that and I pick up a game, I start over. But I had like 30 hours in it or something, and I really hadn't done that much story, and so I just kept going. And I don't remember what hooked me finally. I don't know if it was going to whatever the big city was. I don't remember the big city's name. It starts with an M.
I think it's Meridian.
Meridian or something like that. Yeah. I think getting there and then continuing the story, I think is what pushed me. Like I just got gripped by it.
It's a fabulous story. It's probably one of the best stories I've ever come across in a video game. It totally blew my mind. I don't know. I'm not going to spoil it, but I don't really know what I was expecting, but that was 110% not it. Do you feel like you can think of a video game that has impacted you the most in your life?
I mean, there's so many different ones that have impacted me in different ways, I feel. No, I don't want to pick just one.
Yeah.
But I know we need to like not go on forever about it, but maybe watching the Final Fantasy 14 reactions that I've been watching, that nostalgia it's on the front of my mind. And even though I played it, I don't know, probably 5 years straight every single night when I was originally playing it, and I just never cared about the story. And when I finally finished the story, when Endwalker came out, and I sat down and I played it for weeks and weeks and weeks, and just dug into everything that the game had to offer. I mean, you could play the main story and just get through it and be done with it, but there was so much other stuff that was just added into it. Some of it was like, why do I have to do this? You know, it's a fetch quest. Why do I have to go and spend 30 minutes, you know, running across the plains of whatever to get this item and then come back and, you know, all this boring stuff. There's some of that, of course. But I think playing that game from start to finish, again, like, that's a narrative that it's an experience.
Yeah.
And in watching these people relive those final moments of the story and being able to kind of, you know, just be there with the people that are reacting or, you know, going through it. They're not even reacting to it, they're just in it.
Yeah.
Right? Just, it's the VOD from their stream, and their whole chat is just popping off because they know what's coming. And I'm like, with the chat, you know, even though it's, you know, 2 years ago or whatever. Man, it's just such a great game. And Final Fantasy has ruined MMOs for me.
Oh.
Like that's
how
it's the Hollow Knight of MMOs, right?
Yeah.
And anytime you play Metroidvania, it's like, oh, this isn't Hollow Knight. Anytime I try to pick up another, like, you'll never get me to play WoW. I will never do it. It's not Final Fantasy.
Why would you when you could play Final Fantasy?
Yeah.
Here's my next question. Have any games made you cry?
Yes. So many.
Okay, so many. I was gonna say, do you want to tell me the one, or have you cried in lots?
No, so many. Horizon Zero Dawn was a big one.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say Tears of the Kingdom. Like, I know I haven't beaten it, but I've collected all the dragon tears, and I'm like, okay, that's like a big deal, right?
It's a pretty big deal.
No spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers.
But yeah, I just Tears of the Kingdom wasn't my favorite, so I just stopped.
Okay, we can end this.
Final Fantasy.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
Final Fantasy X. Really, Final Fantasy IX. The end of that, but that's like just happy tears, right? It's not like, oh gosh. Final Fantasy X is a big one. Huge one. Final Fantasy 14 several times. Everybody dies in that game. I'm just kidding. Not everybody, but enough people die that you'll really.
Okay.
Ori.
Oh gosh.
Ori is a tearjerker for some reason.
Not Ori and the Blind Forest. Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
No,
yeah.
Will of the Wisps.
Yeah. No spoilers on that one either, but I wish I would have known before I went into. Oh man, It was. Wow. Yeah, that was a shocker.
There's another game to compare to Hollow Knight, like up to the same, not quite on the same level, but as close as you can get to just an enjoyable, and for different reasons, but
yes,
still is a great Metroidvania. Will of the Wisp was phenomenal. Just the last one, because I can't really think of any other ones, but Kingdom Hearts. If you've never played Kingdom Hearts.
I've never played Kingdom Hearts.
Gosh, don't even get started. Don't play Kingdom Hearts. I don't recommend it.
Okay.
It's so convoluted. Like even playing them in the order that they came out, you're not going to play them in the right order, and so you can't even rely on that. Like, you could buy the entire Kingdom Hearts collection for $100 or whatever it is, and never play them in the right order. It's an abomination of a series that Square Enix and Disney put together. But when you play them individually, there's some really great games in there.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right, fair enough.
But Kingdom Hearts 1 will make you cry.
But it did make you cry. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'm learning so much. Apparently, I just need to play every single Final Fantasy game ever.
Anything that says Square Enix on it, except for Balan Wonderworld, I would just play it. Just a little bit.
Okay. As if my gaming backlog wasn't big enough. My last question for you tonight is, why do you play video games?
The short answer is I play video games because I like to.
And that's a great answer.
Yeah. I play video games because I grew up with video games. Mm-hmm. But I play them as an adult because I enjoy them. I enjoy reading books when I get the chance. I enjoy watching movies. I enjoy listening to music. I enjoy my work. I enjoy hanging out with people. I enjoy church. I enjoy video games. You know, during fall break, when I was out of school, out of work, I played Digimon, and I beat the game finally. You know, it was, I don't know how many hours I spent on it, but it was one of those things I'd played before and I never beat it, and so I started over, and I that whole week I just played Digimon before bed and I beat it. And I enjoyed that time, and then I went right back to work.
And then real life.
Yeah. So I play video games because I enjoy it, and it's a good time for me. It's a hobby, I guess.
Yeah.
2 of our boys are playing soccer right now, and I grew up playing soccer, you know, so I'm like, yeah, go play soccer. But my boys also play video games. They all have a Switch. I didn't buy them all a Switch. They were gifted Switches over many Christmases.
Yes.
But that's what they like to do. Mm-hmm. And they play Minecraft, which I don't even like, right? So I'm not even forcing them to play the things that I grew up, you know, liking. Yeah. But they enjoy playing video games too, and they get just as frustrated as I did when I played video games when I was their age. And so the cycle repeats, and they may not play video games the rest of their lives. I don't care, but they enjoy it right now, and they play them. They're the same reason I do, because we like to.
Yeah, because it's enjoyable.
So, I notice when my kids play together, my oldest son will go, okay, let's start the video, guys. And they'll say, all right, everybody, welcome back. My name is, I think he says Amethyst27. Is that his username?
Oh my gosh,
that was like
adorable.
randomly given to him by the generator of names.
Yeah.
When he joined Minecraft servers or something. He's like, I'm here with, my brothers, and he'll give their screen names, and today we're gonna do this, and he'll just pretend like he's recording video.
He's doing a YouTube video.
Minecraft. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Man, these kids are growing up in a totally different generation than we did.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Wow. That's so great though. What an amazing thing to pass on a passion and see your kids develop the same interest, the same. And like you said, will they play video games for the rest of their lives? We don't know. But it's pretty cool to see them do it now. So
yeah,
that's so cool. Well, those are all my questions. Thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to me and to answer my questions. I appreciate it. I
appreciate you having me.
Huge shout out to Basically Dad for taking the time out of his busy schedule to sit and chat with me about games. I think we can all agree that Final Fantasy is a pretty big franchise out there, and will probably go down in history as one of the most beloved game franchises of all time. Am I wrong? Do you have another favorite franchise? One that's affected you as much as Final Fantasy has affected Basically Dad? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.